see his bio. He is a dynamic speaker. He's considered one of the nation's most dynamic speakers. He is the founder of Cool Speak, a youth engagement company. Formerly a university administrator, professor, and small business development director, he now focuses his energy on empowering young people to succeed by teaching them that their voice is their power. Carlos Ojeda Jr., I'd like to welcome you to the stage. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
What's up? Can you guys hear me without the microphone? Because I'm Puerto Rican, I'm naturally loud. I need to do a sound check. I need to make sure that you can hear me and I can hear you. Clap once if you hear me. A few of you just woke up. All right? I need a little harmony, all right? This is Philadelphia. We got harmony, right? Clap once if you hear me. Clap twice if you hear me. Clap 3 times if you're ugly. Gotta be careful, all right? Gotta be careful. Clap once if you hear me. My name is Carlos Alberto Ojeda Torres Rivera de Jesus Jr. But you can call me Chu, because that's what my family calls me. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, right across the river from New York City. I could see the New York City skyline from my crib, but growing up, you couldn't tell me that. I thought I lived in Puerto Rico. Everybody in my neighborhood looked like me, dressed like me, ate the same food I did, danced the same music I did. I never, ever saw white people, except on TV and in the malls. And when we saw them in the malls, we'd be like, look, white people. Oye, Juan, take a picture, we could put it on Instagram, ¿verdad? Because when you grow up, you only learn what your environment shows you. You only learn what your neighborhood teaches you. And you can't be blamed for that. But you can't be blamed for letting it stay that way, because life changes and you gotta change with it. Cuando yo tenía 10 años, when I was 10 years old, my life changed forever. Because when I was 10 years old, I was riding my bike from my house to the corner, because that's what my mom said I could do. And I have one of those little militant Puerto Rican moms that if you don't do what she tells you to do, ella te mata. No, don't laugh. She had a semi-automatic chancleta. She was gangster, all right? Right? She was old school, plastic on the sofa and everything. If you fell asleep on that, it was like they were tearing your freaking face off. It's old school. And I rode my bike from my house to the corner. When I got to the corner, there was a drug deal going down, because that's what my neighborhood had become. And 2 dudes got into an argument, and one guy just shot the other one right in the head. I was 10 years old the first time I witnessed my first murder. All my friends broke out running me. I didn't even ride my bike back to the house. I just dragged it with me. Porque I had to come home with that bike, right? It didn't matter what happened out there. Cops came, they started canvassing the neighborhood, preguntando. As they got closer and closer to my house, my father walked out. Out of my father's this tall, diesel, evil-looking, dark-skinned Puerto Rican man, so ugly he deserved to be on America's Most Wanted. Now, for real, if he was walking down the street, and you were walking down the street, you do this. I gotta cross the street. And he walked out and he looked at me and said, "Tú no viste nada, you didn't see nothing." And I looked at him and said, "Okay." And then my mom came out and started yelling at my dad, which was always funny, because my mom is so small, my dad is so tall, it always looked like she was yelling at God like, "Mira!" And they are arguing. They said that they couldn't raise me in that craziness, or my sisters in that craziness. So they packed me up and moved me away. Took me from the only place I'd ever called home. Took me from the New York City skyline, and they moved me all the way to a place called Reading, Pennsylvania. There were horses and buggies on their way to Reading, Pennsylvania. It was like Amish mafia up in there. And I didn't like it. And when I got to school, it got worse, because they took one look at the way my mom was dressed, one listened to her heavy, thick Puerto Rican accent. They knew exactly where to put me. They put me in bilingual. But bilingual back in the day isn't the way bilingual is now. Bilingual back in the day, they just took everybody that didn't speak the language and they put them in a room together. So it was me, a kid from Germany, a kid from Korea, and a Jamaican kid. And none of us were learning English. We were all learning how to curse each other out in each other's languages, right? And after a while, I started getting bored, so I raised my hands and said, "Señora, you know, I was looking at the regular classes and I made an awesome discovery. There's some really hot girls in the regular classes. And all I got is these 3 freaky dudes." But she looked at me and she's like, "No, you're not from around here. This is where you stay." So I went home and I told my father, my father, he's what you call a New Yorker. Came from Puerto Rico when he was a kid, but he grew up in the boogie down Bronx, New York, from head to toe. So I walked in the house and said, yo, Dad. He said, yo, what up? I said, yo, man, they put me in bilingual. My dad's like, for real? I was like, for real, for real. He's like, for real, for real, for real? I was like, for real. So we went to school, and I was hyped. We walked into that classroom, I was like, y'all gonna get it? My dad gonna punch you, he gonna punch you. You getting punched twice, what? And my father walked up and had a conversation with him, asking him why his son was in bilingual. And they couldn't, they were tripping on the New York accent, because he barely spoke any Spanish. My mom barely spoke English. That's the secret to a successful marriage, y'all. They didn't know what they were saying to each other, right? And when I translate, I always made it sound real good. Tú eres loca. Mom, he said you are blazingly beautiful. Right? So they started arguing. My dad's like, yo, is there a test that you can give my son to tell you where he belongs? I said, yeah, give him the test. And they did. I aced it. I spoke English and Spanish, wrote English and Spanish, read English and Spanish, dreamed in English and Spanish. I even speak French now. Je parle le français très bien. J'ai étudié le français pour 6 ans. Voulez-vous coucher? I know what that means. They apologized to my father. Told them they put me in regular classes on Monday. We walked out, I was happy. Because, yo, we straight punked them teachers. I could get away with anything. And in my moment of joy, my moment of happiness, in my moment of triumph, out of nowhere, my dad slapped me in the back of the head. Really, really hard, man. My eyes started watering up. I thought I had allergies or something, right? I was like, oh my God, my mascara. I was tripping. And I looked at my dad and said, Papi, why'd you hit me? I didn't do nothing. My dad said, exactly, mijo. No hiciste nada. You let them put you in a corner where you don't belong. Tu voz es tu poder. Your voice is your power. It is the one thing given to you from birth so that you can stand your ground, speak your mind, lay claim to your destiny, and you let them steal it from you. No te mando, I don't send you to school to waste away. I send you to learn to become better because you are the hopes and dreams of our family. Tu voz es tu poder. But I wasn't trying to understand that. I was too young. I wasn't trying to understand the gravity of what my father was telling me. When they moved to Reading, both of them had to work long hours, 2 jobs, all the time. That left me all by myself. And there were 2 things that I would do all by myself. Number 1, get in trouble, because my people were always getting me in trouble. Number 2, chase down girls, because that's what I got in trouble for. But see, I'm not a good-looking dude, so I had to come up with some game, right? I go up to the girls, Mama, you look good. Mama, you look fly. Mama, if I could rearrange the alphabet, I'd make sure that you and I will be together forever. Míralo, míralo. He's like, I gotta write that down. Yo, I worked hard. I would look at the girls and say, Mama, your daddy must have been a thief, because he stole all the stars in the sky and he put them in your eyes, right? But you gotta be careful when you use that, because you be on the phone like, baby, your daddy must have been a thief. She's like, how do you know he in jail? You gotta be careful. I got in trouble, always, because my parents, not because they didn't care or because they weren't watching over me, but they had to work to provide for our family. So the streets were raising me. And then, this one summer, this girl, this amazingly beautiful girl, Lourdes Alvarado, gorgeous. She didn't even know I existed. She was going to some camp for the summer. So I wanted to go, but I wanted to go alone. I needed my boys. My boys wouldn't go. But luck what happened, 2 other girls were going, and we went to this camp. This camp, man, they took us out to a farm, taught us how to ride horses, taught us how to write poetry. We just considered it hip-hop, so we just put a little beat to it and we would spit. They taught us how to be ourselves. They gave us love and affection. They gave us more than we could ever imagine. And I'm not going to say that camp changed my life, but I will tell you one thing. It gave me a moment. A moment where I thought that I could be something more than I am. And no lie, I didn't get the girl. She left me for some ugly dude. I said